La música de Harry Fraud.
Glamps in the Matrix. Your life turned to flipping pages. All the real talent behind them cages.
Thank you guys for tuning back in, and we're back for week 6 free picks brought to you by Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio and our sponsors at TeamSpacePoker.com. Make sure you book your poker party today. So last week we had a tough week. Last week we missed 8 games. It's actually our most games mixed for the season, leaves us at a 50% win rate. You know, breaking even every once in a while, but we try to do better with that. We missed 3 games by just not covering the spread. So this week we're going to try to do better. So let's jump into our losses for week 5. Week 5, we ended our Thursday night win streak. Thursday night, Broncos came in, choked. Russell Wilson obviously struggling. Offensive line's not helping him. Their running game is absolutely terrible, and they come in and put up 9 points, lose to the fucking Indianapolis Colts. So Colts only put up 12 points, shows you that they were that close to just getting a W at home, losing a mile high. So Broncos are clearly struggling. We missed that game. Packers -8. We knew Packers would win. We had them covering that spread. Saquon's clearly a monster, one of the best running backs in the league. And somehow Daniel Jones and the New York offense has been getting it done. So they managed to keep that game close enough to where we couldn't cover that spread. Daniel Jones went 21 for 27. Great passing game. No touchdowns, no interceptions. So protecting the ball gets the job done. Chiefs game we missed. They clearly didn't cover. By game time, we knew Oakland was going to possibly win that game, but definitely cover that spread. They play the Chiefs tough every time. The Lions game, Belichick just came in there with a game plan, man. He shut down that running offense and held up to a goose egg, 0-29. So the Patriots beat the Lions. Missed that game. Held Jamal Williams to 56 rushing yards, which was tough. And the Seattle game, which I thought was a lock, them getting almost 6 points on the road. Geno looked good, man. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but he couldn't account for that running game that the Saints came up with out of nowhere. Taysom Hill and Kamara. Taysom Hill had four touchdowns, both of them over 100 yards. So Seattle running defense obviously needs some work. The 5.5 wasn't enough, so Saints won that game. We lost that. The Dolphins game, I think we would have won. Bridgewater went out early with injury, and the Jets passing D's good. It's good. They held Debo to 20-something yards, so it's kind of surprising to me that the 49ers blew them out like that, but with the third-string quarterback in there, it's kind of not surprising. We missed the Tampa Bay game. They couldn't cover against the Falcons, which was surprising. 15-21. Tampa Bay offense is struggling. Pass defense is still there. Shut them down to 15 points, but wasn't enough to cover the spread. And we missed the Carolina game. McCaffrey's having a great season. It's just Baker Mayfield's trash, and the rest of Carolina is not anywhere near in the shape to help him win games. So Carolina choked that one for us. So that's 8 games lost out of 16 in week 5. So coming into week 6, we're going to try to be a little bit more optimistic. So we're jumping into it with the Bears game. The Bears' first game on the schedule. They have 0 losses at home. Going up against Washington, Carson Wentz is questionable, so we don't know if he's going to be playing. Washington is only allowing 89 yards per game rushing. That's what they're doing, rushing. But they're allowing 26 points per game scored. So people are putting up numbers against them. So I think if the Bears ever had a chance, this would be that chance at home. So we're going to be running with the Bears money line in that game. Possible lock against Washington. The next game is the New York Giants getting 4.5 at home against Baltimore. It's going to be a tough game, big game. I don't know how Daniel Jones has been able to pull up these W's lately. I guess because of Saquon, but the Giants are allowing 179 rushing yards per game, which is really going to help with Lamar Jackson running the ball all the time. But at the same time, Baltimore is allowing 144, so Saquon's going to have his chance out there too. But on the other side, Baltimore is allowing 300 yards passing. So if Daniel Jones could ever throw the ball, this is going to be his chance to show that. We're going to take Giants plus the 4.5. Might be a 3-point loss, but that 4.5 is really going to help us at home. We're going to take the Giants. Next game is going to be the Saints. The Saints playing against Cincinnati. As long as Andy Dalton is on the field, I feel like the Saints have a good chance of losing. They are at home, but they're playing without, Michael Thomas, without Jameis Winston. Bengals have a way better defense. They're only allowing 99 rushing yards per game. That's going to benefit them. 17 points per game is a great defensive statistic for the Bengals, showing you that their defense is playing. And at the same time, Saints are allowing 26 points per game. So people are scoring all over the Saints. So Olave is questionable, the wide receiver for the Saints. So they're really short on their offensive weapons. So we're going to go ahead and take Cincinnati, primarily just because Andy Dalton will be playing. And we expect Cincinnati's defense to show up, get some turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. Next game is going to be Indianapolis against Jacksonville. We're taking Jacksonville money line. Of course, Jonathan Taylor's still out. Colts are only scoring 13.8 points per game. That's less than 2 touchdowns. You put up 2 touchdowns, you can beat these guys. Jacksonville's allowing 16 points per game. So their defense is really overperforming, I would say. And the Colts, 91 rushing yards per game, especially without Jonathan Taylor, is really going to be a factor. We're going to take Jacksonville money line to get this game. The next game on the schedule is going to be Minnesota. Minnesota is going up against Miami. Bridgewater is a difference maker. Miami is doing 82 rushing yards per game, which is not really that well. And they're allowing 240 passing yards per game. 26 points per game scored against them. So that their defense has really been slacking. But in this game, we're going to take Minnesota money line. I think Jefferson has a big game against the passing yard defense. I think that maybe they get Dalvin Cook involved. Thielen might have some plays. Minnesota is really a better team matchup-wise. So it would really be surprising to me to see Miami get this done. But Miami being at home, it's going to be a tough game. But Bridgewater's a difference maker, man. If he's playing or if he's not, it's going to make all the difference in the world. So next game on the schedule, we're going to have the Patriots going into the Browns. Cleveland Browns playing at home against... We assume Mac Jones will be playing. He's been dealing with some injuries these last few weeks. The Browns are putting up an astounding 192 rushing yards per game, one of the best rushing teams in the league. And they're actually scoring 26 points per game. So they're getting the job done offensively. I think that Jacoby Brissett, decent quarterback. And with their 2 home losses, we're going to take the Browns to get this done. We're going to take the Browns money line. The next game on the schedule is going to be the Jets going up against the Packers. That's a tough one. We're going to take the Jets plus the 7 just because of how poor Green Bay defense has been playing. Aaron Rodgers coming off of a loss. I expect him to get the win. But I think the 7 is just too many points. The Green Bay defense is allowing 190 yards per game passing, which is pretty good. But the Jets have obviously, in that last game, they show you that their running ability has really stepped up. I think they have the ability to get this done on the ground. So we're going to take the Jets plus 7. Expect them to keep this game close. The 49ers minus 6 is going to be our next pick. No Kyle Pitts for the Falcons. I think this will be a blowout game for 49ers. Garoppolo is going to show up. 49ers are allowing 12 points per game, which is exceptional for a defense. Only allowing 70 rushing yards per game, so any chance that the Falcons had of running the ball is shut down. And Debo's been slow, man, so I expect Debo to show up, have a big game this week against the Falcons. So we're going to be taking the 49ers on the road, giving up the 6 points. That's going to be our pick for that game. Tampa Bay minus 8 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is shown to be one of the worst teams in the league, primarily because they're missing that leadership from the quarterback position. Pittsburgh is only scoring 15 points per game, yet they're allowing 26. Tampa Bay's got to work on their running game. They're only performing up to 66 yards rushing per game. And Pittsburgh's 300-yard passing allowed is going to show out for Brady. I think he's going to have a great day. I think the Patriots expose this Pittsburgh defense and cover that 8-point spread. Now, next game is going to be Seattle Seahawks going to Arizona. Seattle at home plus 3. We're going to take that. Seattle's allowing 30 points per game, which is tough, allowing 170 rushing yards per game. So their defense is really costing them games. They're without their running back, and I don't know who really has the matchup advantage. All year long, we've been saying Arizona is pretty much just Kyler Murray, but in this game, with James Conner being questionable, I think that Seattle home field advantage is really going to show up, and that +3 is going to be enough to let us take Seattle. Next game, we're looking at Carolina. Baker Mayfield's not only trash, but he's injured. So we're going to get to see P.J. Walker. I think he's better than Mayfield. The Rams have been struggling all year long. Our reigning Super Bowl champs are scoring 16 points per game and only putting up 62 yards rushing per game with a decent running back core. So obviously they have some play calling issues. This is going to be a bit of an upset. I'm going to take Carolina plus the 11 at home. I think that the Rams are as bad as they look. Matt Stafford's under a lot of pressure trying to force the ball to Cooper Kupp. That's just not going to be enough to get it done, especially without a running game. So they need to open up the running game more. Buffalo KC is the game of the week. Buffalo's only allowing 12 points per game, and they're really dominating offensively. They're way different from Kansas City, to where they're pretty evenly balanced on offense and defense. Kansas City is clearly struggling on offense, so we just saw that on Monday night, and they almost lost to the Raiders. They're allowing 276 yards passing per game. I think that it gets exposed by Buffalo. I think that the wide receivers on the Buffalo team have a great game in this matchup, and Buffalo gets that done money line. So after that, we got Dallas. We're taking Dallas +5. Dallas has one of the best defenses in the league. A big divisional matchup against Philly. I don't see Philly going undefeated. It's hard to do, so I expect them to take an L here soon. They've been close recently. But Dallas is 18 points per game is really going to be tough to maintain. And I'm surprised that they were able to keep that number so low during a 4-game win streak. So we're going to take Dallas plus the 5. I don't know if we're going to need the 5, but the Cowboys on the road, we're probably going to need the 5. Next game is going to be the Broncos. Broncos going on the road against the San Diego Chargers. Denver's only scoring 15 points a game. San Diego is allowing 27 points per game. So they're doing pretty good with the pass defense. Russell Wilson's already struggling, so I expect the San Diego Chargers to shut down that defense. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. San Diego is only averaging 99 rushing yards per game. They even throw to their running backs, so that's how they've been getting it done. But I think Bradley Chubb has a big day. I think he exploits that offensive line, and I think that he gets to Justin Herbert. At least keeps it close. So we're going to take Denver plus the 5. Possible money line win in that game. So thank you guys for tuning in for another lineup of free picks, and make sure you tune back in next week. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll be back with you for week 7. We'll go over these week 6 wins and losses and try to keep it going. So may all your picks be good and your bets be live. I'll see you next week.